In 1919, there was a race riot in Chicago. It was a result of the end of World War I and a lot of veterans returning, scrambling for jobs and housing in Chicago. People were packed in. There was not a lot of segregation going on, so the races were fairly well mixed. And on July, there was an incident at the beach where a white man was throwing rocks at black swimmers and killed a black swimmer. When the police were brought to the scene, they did not arrest the white man who threw the rock, but they ended up arresting a black man, and that tipped off the Chicago race riot of 1919. There were 37 people killed over 6 days of rioting, and 535 people injured, and a lot of homes and businesses were burned. 1919 was known as a Red Summer across the country. There were 24 other race riots around the nation. But when that riot happened, there was a baseball player named Andrew Rube Foster who was running the Chicago American Giants. They were playing on the south side of Chicago Stadium because of Rube Foster's association with John Shorling, who was the son-in-law of Charles Comiskey. Business deals between Shorling and Foster allowed the Chicago American Giants to play their home games in Chicago at Southside Park at 39th and Wentworth. Foster had long hoped for a Negro National League, but there was not a consensus or agreement on how to do it. After the race riot, he really renewed his effort and focused on forming the Negro National League. So he set up a meeting at the 20th Paseo YMCA in Kansas City with other African American team owners, and that is where the Negro National Leagues was born. The league's initial members were Dayton, St. Louis, Detroit, Kansas City, Cincinnati, Indianapolis, and 2 teams in Chicago. And Foster was elected the first president and treasurer for the league. Rube Foster was the dominant pitcher from 1900 to 1910. He was the dominant African-American pitcher and very successful on the mound. He was about 6'2", 6'1", over 200 pounds. And he pitched against some of the other top white pitchers in those days. 1902, he beat Rube Waddell, and that's where he adopted the name Rube Foster. And white manager of the New York Giants, John McGraw, told Rube Foster that there are players on his team and himself that he would love to have playing on his team. And it is said that Rube Foster instructed some of the New York Giants pitchers, including Christy Mathewson, the screwball. Now, Foster last played ball in 1917. From there, he was a great black baseball executive running the Chicago American Giants and the Negro National League after 1920. Rube Foster had a half-brother named Willie Foster, who was a great Negro League pitcher. Willie Foster was raised in Mississippi. He wanted to pitch. He moved to Chicago and worked in the meat packing plants, but wanted to pitch on Rube's teams. Rube wouldn't let him, so he went back to Mississippi. When he developed and became a great pitcher in Mississippi, then Rube brought him back and insisted that he play on his team, the Chicago American Giants. Willie Foster had pinpoint control and a variety of pitches which he threw from all the same arm angle. Willie Foster was the pitching star for the Chicago American Giants for over a decade. He even started the 1933 Negro League All-Star Game and pitched a complete game. That was before the rules limited pitchers to 3 innings. He pitched a complete game in the 1933 Negro League All-Star Game. Today he's facing the 1920 Cleveland Indians, world champions, and they are a dominant team. In my previous play using the Stratomatic format many years ago, Cleveland Indians won a 15-game, 60 all-time team season by going, I believe, about 13-2 in that season. And the 1920 Cleveland Indians won a double elimination dead ball tournament with 8 teams. I played on the channel earlier this year. Pull up a chair and take in with me the 1927 Chicago American Giants against the 1920 Cleveland Indians. Hi everybody, this is Apba Brian and Apba Baseball Classics with game number 56 of the All-Time Greats Tournament. We had a long introduction, so we're going to quickly do the starting lineups. First for the visiting Chicago American Giants of 1927. Jackson, Malarcher, Davis, Russ, Brown, Sweet, Brown, Bray, and Foster is on the mound. And for the 1920 Indians, if you want to hit pause on your camera, here's their starting lineups. Speaker Evans, or Sewell, Evans, Speaker, Smith, Gardner, Johnston, O'Neill, Wamsgans, and Bagby. Let's get this game going. Stanford Jackson steps into the box. He is facing grade A pitcher Jim Bagby, senior. Grade A pitcher Z Modifier. 55 is a 8 against an A. That's going to be a pop out to the third baseman, Gardner, 1 away. We're using basic Apba, and I don't have the steal ratings for the Chicago American Giants, so it's basic Apba all the way, although I do give the catchers a chance to throw out base stealers. Bagby is now pitching to Dave Malarcher. Malarcher was the player manager of the 27 American Giants. 42 is a fly ball to right field. Elmer Smith is under it and makes the catch. 2 away. Here is Walter Steel Arm Davis, the top hitter on this team. A .396 hitter in 1927. 45 is going to be a base on balls. Average speed at first base, and Pythias Russ, the shortstop, comes to bat. There are 2 outs. Runner on first. Pitch to Russ is a 14. 2 balls and no strikes. Bagby has the Z modifier. And 1-1 roll. That's a hit column roll for Russ. And he squares one up for a double to left center, and that will score Davis. 1-0 Chicago. Here is the catcher, Larry Brown. 36 is a base on balls. So after retiring the first 2, Jim Bagby has run into trouble. Here is George, the teacher, Sweat. 6-6 roll for George Sweat. That's going to be a hit column roll. 45 is a double to left center. Run on second. Russ scores. Brown is trying to score. Here's the throw to the plate. He is out. Thrown out by Tris Speaker. So 1 run on the double, and that ends the inning. The Chicago American Giants 2, Cleveland Indians coming to bat. Willie Foster helped pitch his Giants to the championship in 1926 and 27. He toes the rubber. He'll be facing Joe Sewell, the shortstop for the Indians. 55 is a single for Joe Sewell. Single to right field. Sewell's at average speed at first base. And that will bring up Doc Evans. And yes, he did become a doctor after his playing days were finished. Here's the pitch to Joe Evans. 1-1 roll. That's a hit column roll. And 56 is a double over first. The runner to third. F runner scores. He's not F. But now we have second and third and nobody out for the Indians. That brings up Tris Speaker, a 388 hitter in 1920. The American Giants are going to play the infield back. Here's the pitch to Tris Speaker, lefty on lefty. 33 is a hit column roll for Tris Speaker. And 34 is a double that's going to score both Sewell and Evans. And the game is tied 2-2. Elmer Smith steps up to the box. Still nobody out. 45 is going to be a walk. And the first four have reached for the Indians. Brings up Larry Gardner, a good offensive player, the third baseman. 52 is a 27. That's going to be a double play. 5-4-3. So Speaker goes to third. Smith is retired. And so is Gardner. So suddenly there's two outs. First baseman Doc Johnson will come to bat. I have not read up on him. I don't know if he became a doctor. Here's the pitch to Doc Johnston. 1-2 is a 25. That's going to be a line drive to third base. Caught by Dave Malarcher, and that's the final out of the first inning. But 2 runs are scored. Go to the top of the second, 2-2. Jim Brown will lead off for the American Giants in the top of the second inning. Jim Bagby with a 31-game winner in 1921, roughed up in the first inning. Let's see if he settles down. Here's the pitch to Jim Brown. 45 is a base on balls. James Bray, who is sometimes a catcher. He's playing in the outfield. Pitch from Bagby. 56 is another 14, 2 balls and no strikes, and Jim Bagby's having trouble throwing strikes today. Here's the pitch. 33, that's a hit column roll for James Bray. 25 is a 2, that's going to be a triple along the right field line, scoring Jim Brown. It's 3-2, Chicago. With dice rolls like this might end up being quite the slugfest. Willie Foster comes to bat. No outs. Infield is going to play in. Here's the pitch from Bagby. 53 is a 21. Fielding column 2, and it's a ground ball to first base. Bray will score 3. It's going to be 3 unassisted, but an RBI for Foster, and it's 4-2 Chicago. Top of the order, Stanford Jackson. 1 out. Now the bases are clear. 1-2 is a 25. That's going to be a ground out to second base. 4-3, 2 away. Dave Malarcher. 26 is a ground out to third base. Larry Gardner makes that play. But the Chicago American Giants score 2 more times. We go to the bottom of the second. 4-2 Chicago. Most big league managers do not like to see high-scoring games in the first game of a series because that could tax their pitching staff from the get-go. And I'm sure Tris Speaker and Dave Malarcher are the same way. Steve O'Neill will lead off the bottom of the second for Cleveland. 53 is a 19. Chicago's fielding column 2. That's going to be an error on the Chicago third baseman, Dave Malarcher. O'Neill's slow at first. Cleveland will play it safe on the base paths. Here is Bill Wamsgans, second baseman. 53 is an 18. And that's going to be an error on the shortstop, Joe Sewell, E6, back-to-back airs put, or not Sewell, Pythios Russ. So back-to-back airs put Indians on first and second with nobody out. Here's a picture of Jim Bagby. Bagby will try to sacrifice. Pitch from Willie Foster. 51 is a 9, and that is going to be fielded by the third baseman, throws to first, second baseman covering. So sacrifice 5 to 4. O'Neill goes to third. Wamsgans to second. And now there's one out. Top of the order, here is Joe Sewell. 65 is a foul out to the first baseman, Jim Brown, and that's 2 outs. Infield's playing back. Doc Evans, the batter. 33, that's hit, column roll there. He's a 349 hitter. 64 is a 6, that's a double that clears the bases. And the Indians tie the score on Doc Evans' second double of the game. First 2 RBIs. 4-4 in the bottom of the second inning. So the Indians are matching the 27 Chicago American Giants blow by blow. Tris Speaker, player manager, steps into the box. There are 2 outs, runner on second. Pitch to Speaker. 55 is a single to right field that's going to score Evans. Speaker is 2 for 2. 5-4. And now we have to start lowering pitching grades. If an Apba pitcher gives up 5 runs within 3 innings, his grade goes down 1 level. So Willie Foster is now a B pitcher. And I'm sure he'd be frustrated. Here is Elmer Smith. .54 is going to be a fly out to the right fielder for the final out. But Cleveland starts the inning with 2 errors, then they get a double and a single to get 3 runs. We go to the third, Cleveland 5, Chicago 4. Walter Davis will lead off the third for the American Giants. 51 is a single for Walter Davis. And the hits just keep coming. He's average speed at first base. Pythios Russ comes to plate. He doubled and drove in the American Giants' first run of the game. 31 is an 8 against an 8 pitcher. That's going to be a ground out to first base. Pitcher covering, 3-1. Davis goes to second. Here is Larry Brown. Larry Brown was 6 times a Negro League All-Star. Very good defensive catcher. Once said to have, in playing Ty Cobb in Cuba, is said to have thrown him out 5 straight times. And it was either Ty Cobb or Rogers Hornsby who tried to talk him into coming to the white major leagues and try to pass himself off as a Cuban. Here's the pitch to Larry Brown. 36 is a 14 that's going to be a base on balls. Bagby has a Z, but when there's a runner on second, Apba doesn't put the Z on the result page when the base is open. So first and second, and 1 out. Here is George Sweat. 1-2 is a 25. That could be a double play. That's a 6-4-3 double play. That ends the top of the third. Nobody scores. That's the first half inning. No one has scored. We go to the bottom of the third. Cleveland 5 and the American Giants 4. Willie Foster returns the mound for the American Giants. We got to remember he is a grade B pitcher now because of the 5 runs within 3 innings. If that happens again, his grade could go down even further. Or if he gets to the 7th inning and 3 bad things happen to him, his grade can still keep going down. Larry Gardner is leading off for the Indians. 1-1 roll. That's hit column roll for Larry Gardner. And it's going to be a double to lead off the third. And that is the fourth double by the Indians. And the sixth hit. Doc Johnston comes to bat. 33, and it's a hit column roll there. 15 is a 2. That's going to be a triple to deep center field, scoring Larry Gardner, and it is now 6-4 Cleveland. Timeout. Dave Malarkey came in from third base to give Willie Foster some time to gather himself, and he also has Webster, 56 varieties, McDonald warming in the bullpen. Johnston's on third, no outs, and the catcher, Steve O'Neill. .32 is the roll. That's a 26. Infield's back, by the way. 4-3, and the run scores. RBI for O'Neill. 7-4. Bill Wamsgant's base is now clear with one out. 54 is a fly out to the right fielder, James Bray. 2 outs. And now Jim Bagby, the pitcher. 56 is a 34. Pop out. That's a Y modifier, so it's a strikeout. We go to the top of the fourth. Score is Cleveland Indians 7 and the Chicago American Giants 4. James Brown, James Bray, and Willie Foster will bat in the top of the fourth inning. Here's the pitch, 55. That's going to be 8. That's a pop out to third base. 1 away. James Bray. 65 is a pop out to the catcher. 2 outs. That's a ground out to first in the new book, but I'm using the 2011 Apba book. Willie Foster. 65 is also a pop out to catcher. 3 up and 3 down. We go to the bottom of the fourth. 7-4 Cleveland. Joe Sewell will take the leadoff spot here in the bottom of the fourth inning. He took the place of Ray Chapman after the tragedy on August 17, where he passed away from hit by pitch. Here is the pitch to Joe Sewell. 26 is a 24. That's a ground ball to the shortstop by Theos Rush. He makes the throw to first, and Sewell's retired. Joe Evans comes up. He has 2 doubles and 2 RBIs. 44 is a base hit for Joe Evans. He's 3 for 3. Cleveland's up to bat. Fast runner at first, and Tris Speaker grabs the bat. Pitch from Willie Foster. 54 is a fly out to the right fielder. That's 2 outs. And now Elmer Smith. 42 is a 14. That's going to be a base on balls. Indians on first and second with 2 outs. And Larry Gardner, third baseman, 310 hitter, comes to bat. He is 1 for 2 with a double. 54 is going to be a fly out to right field. And Willie Foster breathes a sigh of relief. No runs are scored. We go to the top of the fifth, 7-4 Cleveland. Here is Stanford Jackson, shortstop, starting for the Giants in the fifth. 36 is a pop out to second base. Bill Wamsgantz is under it and makes the catch. 1 down. Player manager Dave Malarkey comes to bat. 61 is a 39. That's going to be a strike. Go 1 pitch. 26 is a 27. 5-3 ground out. Or 5 to, yeah. 2 outs. Here is Walter Davis. So Bagby has settled down now. He has retired 8 in a row. Pitch to Walter Davis. 23 is a swing and a miss for strike 3. We go to the bottom of the 5th inning. Cleveland 7 and Chicago American Giants 4. Willie Foster pitches to Doc Johnson. You're in the bottom of the 5th inning. 42 is a 37. Strike 1. 1-2 is a 25. Ground ball to second base. Jackson has it and throws out Doc Johnson 1 away. Steve O'Neill, the catcher. I think he was a future major leaguer manager. 63, fly ball center field, 2 outs. Bill Wamsgans. And 65 will be a pop out to the catcher. 3 up and 3 down. We go to the 6th. 7-4 Cleveland. Pythias Russ leads off for the American Giants. 56 is a pop out to the shortstop. Joe Sewell, 1 down. Larry Brown. 65 is a pop out to the catcher. 2 away. And the dice rolls were coming hot and heavy the first 3 innings, but they have stopped. Dice have gone cold. 13 is going to be a walk. Yeah, 14 base on balls to Sweat. Here's James Brown, the first baseman. .34 is a fly ball to Tris Speaker in center field. He makes the catch, and we go to the bottom of the 6th inning. 7-4 Cleveland. Jim Bagby Sr. will lead off for the Indians. We just saw his son, Jim Bagby Jr., pitch for the 1946 Boston Red Sox. Here's the pitch to Jim Bagby Sr. 13 is a walk. Joe Sewell. .15 is a 8 against a B pitcher. That's going to be a ground out to third, 5-3, and the runner goes to second. Here's Doc Evans. 31 is an 8 against the B. That's going to be a ground out to the pitcher, Foster, who throws to first. Runner goes to third. But now there's 2 outs. And Cleveland's best hitter is Tris Speaker, a .388 hitter. Here's the windup, the pitch to the lefty. 52 is a 27. That's going to be a ground out to third, ending the inning. Send up a pitch hitter for Willie Foster. Nat Rogers will be hitting. McDonald will be pitching in the bottom of the 7th. Here's the stretch and the pitch for Jim Bagby. 25 is a 8 against a pitcher. That's going to be a ground out to first base. 3-1. And Bray goes to second. Stanford Jackson. It would behoove the Giants to do something here. Their number of outs are dwindling. Here's the pitch to Stanford Jackson. 22 roll. That's going to be a base hit for Jackson. And The runner scores, single to right field, 7-5. Fast runner at first. Dave Malarcher, the player manager, will come to bat. .34 is a fly out to center field. 2 outs. Walter Davis. .22 roll for Davis. That's hit column. And that might mean another run. Let's see. 41 is a, nope, it's a single. Just an 8. And runner goes to third with 2 outs. First and third. A little disappointing when you get those second column rolls. You kind of expect extra bases, but not to be. Pythias Russ comes to bat. All right, Bagby's pitching grade now must be reduced to a grade B. Here's the pitch to Pythias Russ. 62 is a 22. Fielding column 2, that's a buck. And a run will score. Buck called. 7-6. Timeout Cleveland. The Indians call time. They're going to bring in a relief pitcher, Duster Mayles. He is going to be a grade B pitcher. He's left-handed, so he's not going to get the bump up, but I think they're going to try to see if they can finish this game with Duster Mayles. Here's the pitch to Pythias Russ, still up there. 42 is a 9 against a B. That's going to be a single, and the runner will score unless he's slow. Davis is not slow, I don't think. He is not. So the game is tied. 7-7. Larry Ironman Brown comes up. 1-2 is a 25. That's going to be a ground out to second base, ending the inning. But the Chicago American Giants score 3 times in the 7th. 3 hits, a walk, and the balk was huge. We go to the bottom of the 7th inning. Score is tied 7-7. The new pitcher for the Chicago American Giants is Webster McDonald. He is a grade C pitcher, YZ modifiers. He'll be facing Elmer Smith in the bottom of the 7th inning. 21 is a fly ball to right field. James Bray makes the catch. And now Larry Gardner. 1 out. Roll is 31. That's a 9 against a C. That's going to be a pop out to third base. Dave Malarcher is under it and makes the catch. 2 away. Doc Johnston. 22 is a single for Doc Johnston. He is 2 for 4, the triple and a single. There are 2 outs. Catcher Steve O'Neill. 32 is going to be the final out of the inning. That's a ground ball to second base. He goes the short way to the shortstop to retire Johnston at second. 3 outs. Go to the top of the 8th. Score is tied 7-7. All right, George Sweat, you notice on his Apba card, is from Humboldt, Kansas, same place that Walter Johnson was from. And George Sweat played with the Monarchs in the 24 and 25 Negro League World Series. He played with the American Giants in the 26 and 27. And that made him the only Negro League position player to play in the first 4 Negro League World Series. Duster Mayles is on the rubber. Here's the pitch. 21 is a swing and a miss for strike 3. Sweet is a strikeout victim. He turns around and goes back to the dugout. James Brown. 16 is a 28. That's going to be a ground out to the shortstop, Joe Sewell. 2 outs. James Bray. 34 is a fly ball to center field. 3 up and 3 down for the American Giants. For the last of the 8th, the score is tied 7-7. Bill Wamsgans leads off for the Indians in the last of the 8th. 33, that's going to be a single for Wamsgans. And he is the leadoff hitter, average speed, nobody out. Duster Mayles, the pitcher. He will probably try and sacrifice. And he squares around. 16 is a 28. That's going to be fielded by the pitcher, McDonald. The throw to the second baseman covering first. 1-4, sacrifice. Moves Wamsgans into scoring position with one out for the Indians in the top of the order. Joe Sewell coming to bat. Joe Sewell, a .329 hitter, well known for putting the ball in play. He didn't strike out much. Here's the pitch to Joe Sewell from McDonald. 42 is a 9. That's a ground ball to third. Larcher has it, throws to first. Runner goes to third. That's 2 outs, and a dangerous hitter, Doc Evans, comes to bat. He is 3 for 4, 2 doubles and a single. 2 speakers on deck. So McDonald's going to have to see what he can do with Evans. Here's the pitch. 53 is a 16, fielding column 2. That's a single. And the throw into the infield goes wild. That's an error on the left fielder. That sends Evans to second base. The Indians take a 8-7 lead in the 8th inning. Wamsgans scores the go-ahead run, and the error is on the left fielder, Steel Arm Davis, whose arm performed like steel arm. Runner at second, and there is 2 outs, 1 sacrifice, and then a ground out. Tris Speaker is the batter. And Gardner's pretty good behind him. They're going to pitch the Speaker. Here's the pitch. 56 is a 14, and that's going to be a walk. So they work carefully to Speaker. And now first and second with 2 outs. Okay, Gardner's not on deck. It's Smith, Elmer Smith. Still a .316 hitter, though. Here's the pitch. 62 is going to 40. That's going to be an error on the second baseman, Stanford Jackson. That's going to load the bases. From the 3rd to the 8th inning, it got pretty quiet here at League Park, but not now. Bases are loaded, and now Larry Gardner is up to bat. Can Larry Gardner put a quarter in the merry-go-round? Here's the pitch. 55 is a 7. That's going to be a single over second. 2 runners score. And if Smith is a fast runner, he goes to third, otherwise second. He's not fast, so he goes to second. So score Evans. Speaker as well. That's 2 RBIs, and it is time for the rotating dice. Suddenly, the Indians are up by 3. Not going to be a lot of help in the American Giants bullpen. They have 4 starting pitchers and 1 reliever, and another position pitcher who can pitch, but he's rated D. Doug Johnston comes to bat. 51 is a 8. That's a single over short. 1 run scores, and the other run goes to third. First and third for the Indians, and it's now 11-7 Cleveland. First and third, Steve O'Neill. 34 is going to end the inning. That's a fly ball center field. The Cleveland Indians bat around and score 4 runs. We go to the top of the 9th. Cleveland 11 and the Chicago American Giants 7. Okay, in the top of the 9th inning, Charlie Williams will hit for the pitcher McDonald. Steel Arm Davis is warming up in the bullpen in case they score 4 runs. And Williams will probably stay in the game and play in Davis' spot in left field. Here's the pitch by Duster Males. 1-2 is a 25. That's going to be a ground ball to second base. 1 away. Stanford Jackson steps into the box. He is 1 for 4. 1-3 is a walk. So don't go away. This might not be over yet. Dave Malarcher, player manager, steps up. 51 is a 9 against the B. That's going to be a infield hit for Malarcher, first and second, American Giants. Here is Walter Davis. Walter Davis has to stop his warm-up tosses and grab a bat. Here's the pitch from Duster Males. 41 is a 24. That's going to be a 4-6-3 double play. And Walter Davis says, "Oh darn, I'm not going to get the pitch after all." That's the end of the ball game. The final score: the Cleveland Indians 11 and the Chicago American Giants 7. We'll be back with a wrap-up. Defense was the difference in this game. 2 errors in the second inning by the American Giants opened the door to 3 unearned runs by Cleveland in the second inning. And then there were 2 errors in the 8th inning that allowed the Indians to score 4 runs. Only one of those was earned. So the Chicago American Giants scored 7 runs on 8 hits, and they committed 4 errors. The Cleveland Indians scored 11 runs on 12 hits and committed 0 errors. Duster Males is the winning pitcher, 2 1/3 innings, no earned runs, 2 hits, strikeout, and walk. And the losing pitcher was McDonald, who pitched 2 innings and gave up 1 earned run. Star of the game is Joe Evans. Normally a utility player, he only had 147 at-bats, but I put him in the lineup because of that 349 average, and he was facing a left-handed pitcher. So he goes 4-for-5, 2 doubles and 2 singles, 3 RBIs, and scored 3 runs. So Joe Evans is your star of the game. Hope you enjoyed the game. Thanks for watching. Join us tomorrow for Game 2 of the best-of-3 series between the 1920 Indians and the 1927 Chicago American Giants. Hit the subscribe button and like button if you like what you see. And before I say goodnight, I hope you saw the also the little channel update video I put up last night, spelling out a mistake I made. I had a mistake on Game 53. I took it down, but forgot to take it down when I put the replacement game up, so they were both up. And that's a problem that I'm sure caused about 34 people some confusion who are following this tournament. So that game is down, and the replacement game at 53 is up. Thanks for watching. Good day, and God bless.